Hi, and welcome to the tutorial for how to save your files and change your file extensions in OpenOffice's Writer. For those of you who don't know, OpenOffice is a word processing program that uses open source data encoding and programming, so it's been completely designed by volunteers. If you've worked with Microsoft Office or Microsoft Word or Works before, you'll see that there are many parts of this that look very similar. Now, if you're strapped for cash, this might be a good option for those of you who still need a word processing program, as you do have the option for a free download of this software. So I would not recommend using Notepad or something like that. It's just not going to have the same functionality. So let's go ahead and get started. You can see here from your ribbon that you have a lot of the same options that you do in Microsoft: tables, web links, inserting things like pictures. See down here, right? Editing tools, table tools, formatting. That is one of the things that's a little different from Microsoft in that you actually have to go into Format Character to make any changes to your font and font size. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get started with the saving process. So there are two things to keep in mind when you're saving your files. Number one is to make sure that you're getting the right file extension. And number two is to make sure that you're saving it with the proper file naming procedure that's laid out in the syllabus. So you don't go to save, you go to save as. Okay, and for those of you who like to type, it shows you the little code so that you don't always have to be pointing and clicking. And once you've clicked that, it will bring up a dialog box, and this is where we'll fill in our information. So let's say this is Jane Doe's second essay. She's revised it once, so this is her second draft. So as you guys should know by now, we go English 100, and since it's Jane Doe, we go JDOE underscore essay 2 underscore draft 2. Okay, that's all we need. Now, you can't just send it as an ODF file. That's OpenOffice only. Nobody else is going to be able to open that. It's fine to save it like that for your own computer, for your own copies, but for other people, you really want to go with one of these Microsofts. So you can see here, it shows you what file extension it's going to be saved under, so you don't have to type that into the file name. Just click the one you want to use, and it'll put that in automatically for the program to read it. Now, one consideration might be to know how old the computer is of the person to whom you're sending your files. Older computers, you're probably going to want to use Word 95 or 97 2000. For something that's a little more up to date, you can send them something a little more current. Rich text format, this is good for the internet, so if you want to use Google Documents, this might be good for you. Now, one of the things that's different about OpenOffice from Microsoft is that Microsoft will let you save as a PDF right in this dialog box. However, in OpenOffice, there's a different way of doing it. So you go back to File, but instead of stopping at Save As, you come down here to Export as PDF. And when you do, you'll see this pop up. This is your dialog box. Most of the time, you can keep this pretty much basic. Now, if you go lossless compression, that's going to be a bigger file size and it's going to take longer to send. So it depends on how much detail you want in your document. So you say export, and once you hit export, oh look, we get the same dialog box up. So here is where we would name it, right? English 100 underscore such and such. And then depending on where we want to save, that's what we click on over here. So if I want to save it on my desktop, and maybe I'll organize it and put it in a folder later, you can do that. You can have a documents folder in your library where you store your documents. Or if you have an external drive, something like a USB drive, that would show up here after you plugged it in the computer, and then that's where you would click it. Then you click save and you're done. So that concludes the tutorial for saving files for English 100 or English 60 and changing file extensions within OpenOffice's word processing program.